Okay, welcome to Chapter 4, Lesson 3. This will deal with functions. Our learning target and objective for this lesson is to find function values and complete function tables. Let's look at our vocabulary for this section. Our first word is function, and function will be a relation in which every member of the domain, which is the input value, is paired with exactly one member of the range, which is the output value. As in all lessons, you may pause the video to write down the vocabulary and definition. Once you're done, you may resume the video. Our second word is function table. That's where the input, the rule, and output are organized. This lesson will learn about the independent variable. The variable of the domain, which is the input, can be any number. And our last vocabulary word, the dependent variable. The variable of the range that depends on the domain. Okay, one of our key concepts of this lesson is the function equation. As we see, we have f parenthesis x, which that's how we read is fx is read the function of x, or f of x. And this is the output or the range. As we take a look at the 15x, the input x is any real number. It is the domain. So from lesson 2, we know that the domain is the x and the output or the range is the y. Okay, let's look at our example. If f of 2, what is f of 2 if f of x equals x minus 4? So what we are going to do, we're just going to substitute, which is a word we used in chapter 3. We're going to substitute 2 in for x and solve. So we just put 2 minus 4. 2 minus 4 equals negative 2. So there our input value would be 2. Our output value is negative 2. Okay, we're looking at a table now. Here's a function table. And we're going to put input values for x. We're going to put them in the rule. This middle column is the rule. The rule is whatever equation it is for f of x. So this is our domain. This will be our range. This will be our independent variable. This is our dependent variable. One way to remember which one the independent and dependent variable is the independent variable is your input variable. So whatever you put into the rule is your independent. So let's put in some numbers here in our domain. Let's go with negative 1, 0, 1, and 2. Okay, now all we are going to put in our negative 1 in for our x. So we have negative 1 minus 7. So our dependent variable, or the range, will be negative 8. Now we're going to put in the domain, the x, here. So we have 0 minus 7. Our dependent variable will be -7. I'm going to substitute in 1 for x. We get 1 minus 7. We get -6. And the last one, you're going to plug in 2 for x. So you get 2 minus 7, which will be -5. And that is how you fill out a function table. Okay, we're going to take a look at a real world example here. Total sales, f of n, is a function of the number of rubber stamps n sold. A scrapbooking store is selling rubber stamps for $4.95 each. Okay, our first question is identify the independent and dependent variables. So we'll take a second, think of what would be the input value, what would be the output value. The input would be the independent variable, the output would be the dependent variable. Okay, our independent variable is going to be the number of stamps, n, because that will vary. Our dependent variable will be the total sales, f of n, as they are dependent on the number of stamps sold. Okay, what values of the domain and range make sense for this situation? So what can we put in? What can our input value be in to make sense? And what can the range, what will the output be? What values of f of n will make sense in this situation? Okay, for our domain, only whole numbers make sense for the domain because you cannot buy a fraction of a stamp. So you'd have to buy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 books of stamps or 20 stamps, but it has to be a whole number. Can't put on a half a stamp on a letter. And our range, our output, the range will be in multiples of 495 because 495 per stamp. So if you buy one stamp, it's going to cost you $4.95. You buy 4 stamps, it'd be $4.95 times 4. Okay, we're going to have to write a function to represent the total sales, and then determine the sales for 5 stamps. So think of how your function will look like. Please write it down, pause the video, and then once you've completed your function, you may restart the video to see how you have done. Okay, our function will be f of n equals 495n. What that's telling us is the n's represent the number of stamps. That's the number of stamps. F of n is the total cost of the stamps. As you see, if you plug in f of 5 into our function, you're going to get that 5 stamps cost you $24.75. Okay, please write down any questions you have concerning this lesson. Bring them into class tomorrow as we'll go over any concerns, and then we will complete our daily activity in class.